Hey, it's Keltic from Wicked Witch Productions again. I'm going to do some watercolor for you guys. Show you how to blend it into the wood and get all that color tone that I get on the boxes. These are coffin boxes. Eventually when they get finished they'll have lights and stuff in them. They're pretty cool looking. We're going to do the crystal ball first, and I'm going to layer the colors because different than the distress crayons, you're going to layer all your colors here and then water it, as opposed to continually picking up and laying pigment like you do with the distress crayons. So just going to do this like, not even, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to get color down. You're going to blend it all together once all the color is down. And there's a trick when you go to color, or do the water, I'm sorry. You do little circles when you're filling in big areas, because then it works all the pigment into the grain of the wood. These are going to be darker or richer once they're wet and they're blended. Sometimes they'll fade out a little bit because you're putting water to it, so you're watering down the pigment. But with this, I'm going to take a couple different color blues. I'm going to layer the light to dark. Now I'm going to come just down in the bottom. I'm not putting much pressure on these at all because wood is really hard on the tips. And I'm going to just follow my curve on the outside. That's just old habit from drawing. I'm going to go over it a second time and put a second layer. Still not pressing really hard. I just want to get the color down. My third color. And I'm going to bring the shadow down a little further because it's a curve, and the closer to the bottom of the curve, the darker it's going to be, because that's where it casts the shadow. Now I'm going to take the darkest of them and just go small on the bottom. This pencil is not wanting to color very much, so we might have to switch the color on that one. Also, when you're working with wood, you're going to want to make it as smooth as you can get it. I usually do a 220 and then a 400 grit sandpaper. You want it smooth where you're not getting splinters. Then you do your coloring. I do it before I burn it too, but then I go back and do it again. Now I'm going back to my third pencil. I'm going over the dark so that it fills in and blends the color a little bit. Again, just a habit from art class and knowing how to work with them and different tricks over the years of doing it. When you're working with regular colored pencils, you want to do this because that's what blends your color and makes the transitions not so obvious. It makes it look more blended. I'm not going to go crazy with this because I just want to show you what it's doing. I already lost my brush and I haven't even gotten up from my chair. And you see, it's not a very big brush. These are filled with water. I'm just going to start with the lightest part. And I'm going to go in little circles. I'm going to blend that color right up to the edge. And you can see my water starting to pull a little bit. Just going to very lightly tap it. I'm going to wipe my brush. And you see it's turning yellow in a couple places a little bit. It's the nature of the beast when you're working with wood. Sometimes the color comes through. Sometimes it could be a little sappy. That'll change the color. These are pine, so they're a little yellow by nature. You notice just little circles, and see how you can still see the wood grain, but the wood grain is colored. You're not getting white spots. I'll work my way down. You don't want to go in perfect rows. You want to kind of go all over the place, because then you don't get marks like you do when you color, like with a crayon and paper. You don't get line marks. You want to be able to see the smooth transition of your color without seeing your brush marks. Okay. I'm just going to swipe that up because I have a little bit of water still pulling. And I just line the color. This batch of coffins are a little grainy and it's not really taking color fabulously. I'll hit this with the dryer, like with the heat gun, or just let it dry while I'm coloring the other stuff, and probably throw another layer of color on that. When I have these at the end, I'll hit it with a metallic white paint or a metallic shimmer, just something to give that definition, because when you were drawing it, those would be white. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to finish coloring this out and we'll get back to you when it's done.